Hey guys! CBD stands for cannabidiol. Cannabidiol is a natural substance and it's a type of cannabinoid. There are many different cannabinoids. CBD is the type of cannabinoid called cannabidiol. And the way we get it is from a plant called cannabis sativa. It's also known as the hemp plant. They're really tall, dense, they're stalky plants, and they're awesome because every single part of the plant can be used. It has great fiber for making fabric and for making paper. It's just a really agriculturally beneficial plant. CBD does not have any psychoactive effects. And so, like I said, CBD, it comes from the cannabis plant. That plant is called cannabis sativa, and that is the name of the plant species. Now, this plant is really cool because depending on how it is fertilized, and I don't mean like fertilizer, I mean the flowers get fertilized, that determines whether the cannabis sativa plant is going to grow into a hemp plant or a marijuana plant. So if you're like, wait, I thought CBD and like marijuana was kind of related. Yeah, they are. It's the same species. It's the same plant. But depending on the growing conditions and the fertilization that happens or lack of fertilization, that plant is going to either grow as hemp or it's going to grow as marijuana. So you have this cannabis sativa plant, all right? If the female plants get fertilized, they're really happy. I mean, plants, animals, what do they want to do? They want to reproduce, they want to grow, reproduce, and then die. If the flowers get fertilized, great. They're happy sativa plant, cannabis sativa plants, and they grow tall. They grow into these hemp plants. Hemp plants, get this, they can be up to 20 feet tall. Like, they're big and they're really good. They're grown mainly for their fiber and they're grown for their seeds. Hemp seeds are actually the best omega-6-3 ratio that's found in nature. So really, really healthy for you to have hemp seeds. But let's say that a cannabis sativa plant doesn't get fertilized, that it produces these flowers and they don't get fertilized. Well, that plant is going to respond to that. And the way that they're going to respond is they're going to grow bigger flowers and they're going to put resin on these flowers that's going to help to trap pollen. So it's all about the pollination, all right? Pollination happens, awesome, happy hemp plant, going to grow really tall, going to have low THC, high CBD. But if that plant doesn't get fertilized, if the flowers don't get fertilized, then that plant is going to respond by making bigger flowers and producing a sticky resin that is going to trap that pollen and help that flower get fertilized. Well, guess what is in that resin? That contains the large amount of THC. And so then what's going to happen is instead of having a 20-foot hemp plant, you're actually going to have a cannabis sativa plant that instead grows into a marijuana plant that stays more the size of a bush. All right, so it's all about fertilization and how those plants are grown, how many females you have in comparison to the males, and really it's just, you know, are the flowers going to get fertilized or not? Okay, so let's talk about THC. But just to review, cannabis sativa plants can either grow into a hemp plant or a marijuana plant. Same species, just different variety based on the growing conditions. Okay, THC. THC stands for tetrahydrocannabidiol. All right, this is the natural substance that we find in a marijuana plant. It is that sticky resin that you find on the flower bud, and THC has psychoactive effects. Question is, can you get high from CBD oil? No, you cannot get high from CBD oil. CBD and THC, they're both cannabinoids, but the way that they interact with our endocannabinoid system is differently. Did you catch that? We have an endocannabinoid system. We were created in such a way that we have receptors on our cells that were created to interact with cannabinoids that we find in hemp plants and that we also find in marijuana plants. But we don't just find them in plants, all right? I'll get there in a minute. So THC, it fits into a very specific cell receptor site in our brain, and this results in a euphoric feeling, that feeling of being high. Now CBD, it doesn't fit into that receptor the same way, and so it's not going to cause that same dopamine production. It's not going to cause that same effect. Okay, here's something interesting. CBD actually has a property that it's able to block the effects of THC and prevent you from getting high. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Okay, so you may be thinking, oh, but I heard that CBD was illegal, so if I use CBD, am I breaking the law? Okay, so remember, we have that plant, cannabis sativa, and depending on growing conditions, it either turns into tall hemp or a short marijuana plant. Previous legislation, it failed to make a distinction between marijuana plants and hemp plants. It was like, okay, cannabis sativa is just illegal, anything that comes from it. That's very overgeneralization, but that's one way to think of it. Okay, so consequently, hemp was classified as an illegal Schedule I drug, but Trump did something in 2018. He signed something called the Agricultural Improvement Act. It's also called the Farm Bill. And what the Farm Bill did was it recognized CBD as cannabis sativa plants that have less than 0.3%, so not even 1.1%, like 0.003 THC. It said, oh, that's CBD, that's different. And this made CBD declassified, and so it was no longer a scheduled drug on the federal level. So basically, the Farm Bill, it legalized CBD that was derived from a hemp plant that contains less than 0.3% THC. So if you get CBD from a marijuana plant, that's still illegal, but if you get it from a hemp plant, that is legal, okay? But things are changing all the time. You know, we know that bills are changing and interpretations of bills change. So a few months ago, the FDA came and they said, well, CBD might be legal, but it's not legal as a supplement. Like now it's illegal to say that you can take it orally. And so what happened was, we're going to be talking about Nature's Ultra brand CBD, and it used to be, there was a pet version that was available. And the suggested way that people use this pet version was to put the drops on the pet dog food or the pet food. And since the FDA came out and said, oh, it's no longer legal to claim that CBD is a supplement, that had to be pulled from the shelf. So like nothing changed. There was no new research saying that it was all of a sudden dangerous. It's just that the rules changed. The FDA changed the rules, and so in order to remain compliant, that product was taken off of the market. There is a federal bill to make CBD legal as a dietary supplement. You know, everything keeps changing, so stay tuned. We'll see what happens with that. And then also the states have their own rules for CBD. So it definitely can get a little confusing. All right, I want to go back to our endocannabinoid system and just talk about that a little bit. You know, we've heard of our respiratory system, our nervous system, our digestive system. We actually have a system that isn't talked about very much, and that is the endocannabinoid system. So cannabinoids, they interact with our endocannabinoid system, and if we get them from plants, they're called phytocannabinoids. As a matter of fact, phytocannabinoids are what come from cannabis plants. But interesting fact, our bodies make cannabinoids. When our bodies make them, then they're called endocannabinoids. So we can get phytocannabinoids from plants, and we can make our own in our body. Those are endocannabinoids. And there are a whole bunch of different cannabinoids. CBD is one, THC is one. There's also CBG, CNB, CBC. There's a number of them. And whenever these cannabinoids interact with receptors on our cells, the receptors that they're interacting with are CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. We have CB1 cell receptor sites. Mainly these exist on our brain. We also find them in our nervous system, our liver, our thyroid, our bones, and our reproductive tissue. And the CB1 receptor sites, they affect functions such as cognition, memory, motor movement, and pain perception. And then we have CB2 cell receptor sites that cannabinoids interact with on our cells. And these receptor sites are mainly found in our immune cells, like our spleen, our gastrointestinal system, which is a huge part of our immune system, and to a smaller extent, they're also found in our brain and in our peripheral nervous system. Another interesting thing about these CB2 sites, that recent studies reveal that maybe these CB2 receptor sites may also play a role in the regulation of inflammation in our body. I was just reading an article actually on that the other day. CBD and THC, they interact differently in our brains. THC binds to CB1 receptors in a unique way. It causes a release of dopamine. It causes us to feel high. And CBD, whenever it goes to those CB1 receptor sites, same sites in our brain, it doesn't fit into the same receptor in the same way. And so therefore, it's not going to cause that same euphoric high sensation. When a cannabinoid fits into one of these CB1 or CB2 receptor sites, it causes the cell to react by starting to do something or stopping to do something. Okay, so let's talk about some of these, where we find some of these CB2 receptor sites and what happens whenever a cannabinoid binds to that site. So pain nerves. Pain nerves have CB2 receptor sites. And when a cannabinoid binds to that site, it makes that nerve cell stop sending a pain signal. Okay. Cells in our brain, they have CBD to a lesser extent. They have CB2 receptor sites. When a cannabinoid binds to the CB2 receptor sites in our brain cells, it can help us to have a feeling, help us to feel just relaxed. Our immune cells, they also have CB2 receptor sites. And whenever a cannabinoid binds to the CB2 receptor cell of an immune cell, it supports immunity in our body. It helps our body to function, our immune system to function more optimally. Now we're going to talk about endocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids, remember we said we can get cannabinoids from plants. Those are called phytocannabinoids. We can also get them from our own bodies. We create them, all right? Those are called endocannabinoids. So we produce our own endocannabinoids. You know where we produce them? This is interesting. At every nerve synapse. So the way our nervous system works is we have nerve cell, nerve cell, nerve cell, nerve cell, and an electrical signal will, or a signal, it is electrical, but will travel along those nerves. They're long nerve cells. Well, where they meet, it's kind of like this, like you have a nerve cell come like this, and then you have another nerve cell come like this. And where they meet, they don't actually touch. This cell will release some neurotransmitters, and then this cell will feel those neurotransmitters, and then the message, the electrical signal, the signal continues through those nerve cells. Well, we actually have endocannabinoids right there, where this nerve cell meets this next nerve cell, that nerve synapse right here. We have neurotransmitters that are released, and those are actually some of those are endocannabinoids. We want to have proper amounts of the neurotransmitters. So here's something cool. When we have CBD from plants, when we have phytocannabinoids in our body, it actually inhibits our body from destroying our own endocannabinoids. So using cannabinoids from a plant helps our own body maintain proper levels of our own cannabinoids that we're producing. That's really cool, right? That's one way that CBD is able to influence our body to function better. CBD, if you want to generalize what does it do in our body, it really helps us maintain homeostasis. So it helps us self-regulate. Sometimes our body needs to upregulate or downregulate to maintain balance and to stay in homeostasis. And CBD is able to help our body in doing that. Also, essential oils are able to help our body in doing that. A very common concern that people may have whenever they want to start using CBD is safety. Up to 85% of cannabis products can contain pesticides or solvents or contaminants. This is because hemp plants, they are great at cleansing the soil that they are grown in. So they're really good about taking the toxins out. They're really good about taking heavy metals out of the soil. And where do you think you're going to find that? You're going to find that in the extract of that plant. So it's really, really important that you know that you have a good quality CBD product. And unfortunately, 70% of CBD products are mislabeled. It's really important that you do your research before purchasing CBD. Another thing that is a hot word whenever you talk about CBD products is spectrums. Full spectrum CBD. When you're talking about full spectrum CBD, you are talking about all of the compounds that naturally occur in a plant, in a hemp plant. This includes terpenes, the essential oils from the plant, other cannabinoids, any small amount of THC, and the CBD, which is going to be way more prevalent than the THC. Full spectrum products, they typically have higher THC levels than other extractions, hemp extractions, and that could possibly, be an issue in some states. Or if you are a person that doesn't want to have any THC in your body for health reasons or belief reasons or for screening and testing reasons. Then you also have broad spectrum CBD. So broad spectrum CBD is for people who are concerned about the full spectrum having THC in it. So hemp extract, it contains a number of various cannabinoids. It's called broad spectrum hemp extract. But the problem is that scientists don't really understand the effects of all of these compounds on the body. But what they can do is they can isolate just the CBD cannabinoid out of the hemp extract. And whenever you do that, you're isolating the CBD out. You only have CBD. It's called a CBD isolate. It only contains one component, and that is cannabidiol. All right, so now we're going to talk about, so we had full spectrum, then broad spectrum, and now we're going to talk about isolate. Okay, so as the name suggests, CBD isolate, it's an extraction of the single compound CBD. Everything else that's contained in the plant matter is removed. So this is any trace of THC, any terpenes, waxes, oils, chlorophyll, essential oils. So what you're left with is 99% pure CBD. It's a very concentrated extract. And whenever you are choosing a CBD isolate, it's really important that you verify the purity. So what brand of CBD are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Nature's Ultra. It's what I use. It's what I use for my family. And Nature's Ultra is a CBD isolate. And what they do is, remember I said that when you have a full spectrum, it includes the essential oils and it includes everything that you need for that entourage effect. And a lot of people like that. Okay, so this is what Young Living does. Nature's Ultra and Young Living have a partnership. And Nature's Ultra uses organic practices and adheres to the seed to seal stringent policies and promises. They produce CBD isolate and then takes their therapeutic grade pure essential oils and adds them to the isolate. Those are terpenes. Essential oils contain terpenes. Maybe you've heard me talk about, monoterpenes that are in essential oils, or diterpenes, or sesquiterpenes when we're talking about frankincense, so that you do get that entourage effect without needing to go to a full or broad spectrum product. You only have CBD isolate and the essential oils. So it's basically an enhanced CBD isolate called Smart Spectrum. They add the essential oils back in and it creates a chemical profile that is similar to a broad spectrum without the risk of THC contamination. You're going to have no THC in your Nature's Ultra products. But then you're also, not only are you bringing in the fact that you have your terpenes added back in, but you also have the beneficial effects of whatever essential oils are added back in. You have the entourage effect, but then you also have like this targeted smart CBD. There are three different products. Let's talk about this one first. These are the drops, and it comes with a glass dropper, and it comes in two different strengths. So this one is the 500 milligram that I have, and it also comes in an even stronger strength than that. And this one is the Cool Mint. You can kind of target what it is that you want to use your CBD for, but it doesn't mean you can only use it for that. This is peppermint. So when you think peppermint essential oil, you think bones, ligaments, joints, muscles, maybe after a workout, maybe after a strenuous activity. I think like up above the neck discomfort. So if that's my reason for wanting to purchase CBD, I might want to get the peppermint one. Then there's also a cinnamon flavored one. When I think cinnamon, you know where we find a lot of cinnamon? In our Thieves Blend. So when I think cinnamon, I think immunity, I think health and wellness. So if you wanted to take CBD to support that aspect of wellness, then you might want to think about cinnamon. There's also another one that is citrus flavored. So when I think citrus, I think of those, lemon and orange and tangerine, those essential oils that are really good for emotional well-being. Remember we said that CBD can affect the CB2 receptors in the brain. It's really just whatever you prefer. If you prefer peppermint, cinnamon, and citrus. Young Living also has a great kind of intro to CBD product if you've never used CBD before, and that is the Calm Roll-On. This is a 300 milligram roll-on. This is a 500 milligram drops. This is great. It has oils like lavender. I think it has Roman chamomile in it. Just really relaxing oils. And this is a great one to roll on at bedtime, maybe before a test, maybe before an important Zoom meeting. It's just a really nice, calming, relaxing, low percentage. If you've never tried CBD before and you wanted to try it out, then I think Calm is a great roll-on to start with. Just great for emotional support as well whenever you're feeling anxious or whenever you're trying to relax before bedtime. We talked about how do you take CBD. We said that there's the liquid that you can drop and rub in. We said that there's the roll-on that you can roll on, and there's also another Nature's Ultra product. It's a muscle rub. And people are raving about this muscle rub. They're saying it's super incredible, that the entourage effect is fantastic with the essential oils that are in there. So those are the ways. You have the drops that you can massage in, you have the roll-on that you can rub in, and then you also have the muscle balm. In the description of this video, I have a link that will take you to all of the Nature's Ultra CBD products so you can learn a little bit more about it. All right, what are the side effects? For the most part, people tolerate CBD rather well. It can cause some adverse reactions in some people, like diarrhea or changes in appetite. If you're taking medications, definitely consult your doctor before you take any CBD products, just to make sure that you can avoid any potential harmful interactions. For children, there isn't a lot of research on CBD in children. Ask your pediatrician if you want to use CBD with your children. You're the mom, you're the dad, that's a decision for you to make. Do your research, ask professionals like doctors and others that you trust, make an informed choice. But when you do start using CBD, if you choose it, it is right for you. Just start low and go slow. Use a little bit and see how you feel, and increase at a rate that's comfortable with you and approved by your doctor. Okay, how do you get Nature's Ultra CBD? Let's say that you're already a Young Living Wholesale member. You can go in and you can place an order. You can go to the Young Living website and you can purchase CBD from Nature's Ultra, their products, and you can also add it to your Central Rewards order. So that's a great way for wholesale members. If you are not a wholesale member and you want to purchase as a retail customer, you are absolutely welcome to do that. Wholesale members save 24%, but if you want to purchase as a retail customer, you can use the link that I put in this video description. You can contact the person who's been sharing Young Living with you, and they can help you sign up to become a retail member, and you can purchase that way. If you like the idea of saving 24%, there is a CBD starter kit that you can purchase, and it contains Nature's Ultra products, and whenever you purchase that special CBD bundle, it also makes you a wholesale member. So then anything that you want to order for the next year from Young Living, you're going to get 24% off. That means you're going to get that wholesale member price. I will post a link with a little more information about that premium starter kit CBD bundle. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me and learn a little bit more about CBD, and I really look forward to sharing more with you next time. All right, go and have a great day. Thank you.